What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It's your man, Stephen Bardo, coming at you with another edition of Bardo's Breakdown. How sweet it is to be a Purdue Boiler and Fighting Illini fan this glorious Monday. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. We got through the first weekend of March Madness. We had some upsets. Big Ten teams fared fairly well, in my opinion. So we'll get to all that and then some. But first, let me pay some bills here. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel, Bardo Media on YouTube. It really helps the algorithm trying to grow that channel there. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Go to bardostribe.com to get your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. Cool little guide that I use that you guys can pick up some of the terminology that I drop in on my games that I did this past weekend with Westwood One. With my friend and main man, Kevin Kugler. We had a blast. So get your free copy of Triple Threat. It's free, y'all. There'll be a pop-up window. Put your email address in there. I don't blow you up. I probably don't hit the email list as much as I'd like during the season, but in the off season, I will be very consistent with that, and that will give you alerts to certain things that are coming up, because this is going to be an off season to remember, ladies and gentlemen. I'm bringing the heat on this one. So you want to be a part of the email list, trust me. So go to Bardo's Tribe, BARDOS tribe.com to get your free copy of Triple Threat and get signed up for the newsletter. And lastly, you can join via text if you like. You could be a tribe member, 312-847-2739. That's the inner circle that is Bardo's Breakdown. So you could do it via email list. You could do it on the Bardo's group at Facebook. Or you could text me 312-847-2739. All right. We'll leave that up. So I'm just going to run through my picks again real quick. My final four picks. I got Iowa State out of the East. I don't know, y'all. The way the Illini are playing, I may have to change that. Man, they are playing well. We're going to get to that. Number one, out of the West Regional, North Carolina. Michigan State popped them in the mouth the first half. North Carolina flexed their muscles in the second half, advanced. They still look good. Number two in the South, Marquette gets to the Sweet 16. Tyler Kolek had been injured at the end of the regular season, didn't play in the Big East Conference Tournament, looking great right now. Marquette's in the Sweet 16. And number one in the Midwest, Purdue Boilermakers, still looking good. My national championship game, may have to revise it. May have to be Illinois versus Purdue. I saw that tweet somewhere today. I'm telling y'all, I saw the Illini up close first two games. They look like they could be the real deal. I still got Purdue national champions, but if Illinois is going to advance in that game, I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's get to the portal news and rumors, because this is going to be something that I'm going to update weekly, because in the next month, 3 weeks to a month, it's going to be a frenetic pace that you're going to see a lot of Big Ten players coming and going. So here we go. Eli Rice, this just hit on3.com, which is the best site that I've found that covers the transfer portal in all sports, and in particular men's college basketball. Eli Rice is a very talented wing for Nebraska. If you guys remember, he's lefty, about 6'6", 6'7", can shoot the three, a strong kid, but he got injured and fell out of the rotation. Once he got injured, it was hard for him to get back in. He's leaving Nebraska. He just hit the transfer portal. This one was a head scratcher. Connor Essegian from Wisconsin made an announcement during the Big Ten Conference Tournament that he was staying with the Badgers. And I was really surprised, because I'm like, why would he have to announce that he's staying? Didn't make sense to me, but I saw him before his quarterfinal matchup. I went up and congratulated him and told him I thought it was the right decision for him to stay at Wisconsin. And then I guess it was yesterday the news broke that he's in the transfer portal. So something must have happened or whatever. I wish that young man great success. He's a neat young man. I got a chance to talk to him a little bit on a couple of occasions. I wish him the best. Big fella. This is not new news. Cliff Amori is leaving Rutgers, and there were a lot of people that were throwing out rumors that he was going to be in St. John's, that he wasn't going to leave the tri-state area. I don't think Connecticut is involved in the. I don't think they classify Connecticut in that. New Jersey, New York. Maybe it is Connecticut. I don't know, but they kept saying they didn't think he'd leave the tri-city or tri-state area, which most people took to think that it was St. John's. Maybe it's UConn in there as well. Clifford Morey, though, Illinois is on his list. So I thought that was kind of a surprise as well. So there are a few Big Ten teams in his list, in addition to, I believe, Kentucky and maybe UCLA was on that list as well. It was a big list. I was kind of surprised to see some of the names on there. Another Husker leaving, Ramel Lloyd Jr. is leaving Nebraska. Very talented guard, was a red shirt at one point, and I guess he just doesn't see a way for him to get into the lineup, so he is leaving the Nebraska Huskers. This is old news and not a surprise. Doug McDaniel will be leaving Michigan. I don't have a beat on where he could end up, but Doug, as talented as he was at Michigan and some of the things that he put on display in the Big Ten, I think that he will be a very highly sought-after point guard. Okay? So that's the portal news for right now. But, again, if there's something major that happens this week, I'll come back to you and update you on that. All right, let's quickly look at the Big Ten first and second round results. My man Ryan put these graphics together, so thank you, Ryan. Big Ten went 6-4 going into the Sweet 16. That's much better than in years past. I didn't crunch the numbers in the last 3 or 4 Big Ten outcomes in the tournament, but that's a really good outcome in my opinion. Obviously, Purdue and Illinois in the Sweet 16. Zach Edey was his dominant self. Listen, guys, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. I'm so blessed to be on the call on Westwood One when Illinois won their second round matchup against Duquesne. The energy, expression, and the jubilation, if I'm saying that right, I was so blessed to be a part of that. And I'll explain here in a minute. Nebraska and Wisconsin get eliminated in the round of 64. The Huskers didn't bring their defense. Texas A&M lit them up. I was kind of surprised about that. Nebraska played zero defense in getting blitzed by the Texas A&M Aggies. Texas A&M was good, but I thought that Nebraska playing the type of defense that we've seen them at times, I thought that would travel a little bit. It didn't, and they got the doors blown off. Wisconsin got punked. I was a little surprised to see that. James Madison is a physical team, right? But Duke obliterated them with their length and their athleticism. And they couldn't outpunk Duke. Duke is not known as a tough team. Wisconsin is a veteran team, and I was very surprised in the fashion that game unfolded. I was a little disappointed there about the Badgers. I thought they were starting to round into form, especially the way they played in the Big Ten tournament. But it didn't travel with them in their game against James Madison, where they pretty much got dominated. I thought Michigan State was outstanding. There was someone telling me that I was crazy for picking Michigan State over Mississippi State. And what did Michigan State do? In Tom Izzo fashion, went out and played Michigan State basketball and won that game going away. That score did not indicate how dominant the Spartans were in that victory. Northwestern doing their thing, being able to advance, had to go to overtime in their first round matchup. Ryan Langborg was outstanding. I believe he had 28 points, a new career high. It seems as though he was playing his best basketball when the lights were shining brightest. And then obviously Michigan State goes down to North Carolina, and Northwestern goes down to a very talented and experienced UConn, defending national champion UConn Huskies. All right. So the Big Ten is fifth in win percentage out of all the conferences. And, me and Kevin Kugler were having a blast over the first and second rounds because we kept hearing how good the Mountain West Conference was. All these 6 teams, right? They got 6 teams in in the big dance out of the Mountain West, and I believe they went 1-5. They got one team in the Sweet 16 in San Diego State, and they go up against UConn. All the other, if I'm not mistaken, all of the other Mount West schools got bounced and bounced rather easily, if I may say so. All right. So that was kind of the rundown for the Big Ten teams in the first and second round, which I was pleased with. We talk about Illinois and Purdue advancing to the Sweet 16, and I'm going to give you a few things to consider and think about in advance of these games to see if Purdue and Illinois can advance. All right. First up, Purdue versus Gonzaga, the path for the Boilers' success. They got to crash the offensive glass. Gonzaga's not a great rebounding team. They're not bad, but they're not elite like Purdue. And so this Gonzaga team is a very talented ball club, and they kind of space you out, hit you a number of different ways. They've got 6 players that average at least 9 points per game. They've had 5 players in double figures in both of their wins in the first and second round. So a very talented offensive club, right? Let Zach Edey find the shooters. Purdue is number 1 in the country at shooting the 3. And that's been the great equalizer for them. So when teams have to take it, they have to make a decision. Are you going to guard Zach Edey straight up? If you double down, you're in rotation. Purdue has a chance to shoot the 3s. I can't see Ike Edey, the talented big for Gonzaga. I can't see Ike Edey. I'm sorry, Graham Ike. I'm getting my names mixed up. I can't see Graham Ike, who is so important to what Gonzaga does. He's their leading rebounder, leading scorer, 16 and 7 a game. I can't see him going one-on-one with Zach Edey. They can't afford to get him in foul trouble. They have Anton Watson to back him up, another big whose numbers are almost identical to Graham's. He's at 14.5 points and 7 rebounds a game as well. So those two bigs, they've got some size, but I don't see Gonzaga going one-on-one against Edey up front. So that will require Edey to be really good out of the double team. He's been good for the last 2 years doing that, finding 3-point shooters. The Boilers hit 11 threes versus Utah State. So now they're starting to get in rhythm. Hit 7 threes, I believe 9. They were 7 of 25 from 3 against Grambling, 11 for 23 against Utah State. So what has done Purdue in the last couple of years in the tournament, cold outside shooting because people are sagging in on Edey, forcing him to kick it out. That has not been the case this year. And then Cam Heide and Miles Colvin have really given Purdue here late in the season, giving them a much more athletic, big presence on the wing. Cam Heide is 6'7", 6'8", and is athletic as hell. Miles Colvin is 6'6", athletic as hell, can score, can shoot. These guys can do a lot of different things, and they give Purdue a different dimension that they didn't possess in last year's tournament. So this Purdue team, y'all, I was a little nervous in the Grambling first half, but they just had to settle down. And once they did, they buzzsawed through Utah State. That was not even close. So these are some of the things I want you to consider for Purdue against Gonzaga to keep in mind in that matchup. All right, now, Illinois versus Iowa State. Originally, when the tournament started, I picked Iowa State over Illinois. I'm having second thoughts, and I'll explain why. Path for Illini success. Avoid the slow start. The Illini spotted the games, they're all running together. They spotted their first-round opponent a 9-0 lead. And it didn't matter. Oh, Morehead State. Morehead State came out blistering. And to Morehead State's credit, I don't know if you guys know this, but Morehead State is the winningest program in the state of Kentucky in the last 5 seasons. They've got 94 wins over the last 5 seasons. So Morehead State, not University of Kentucky, obviously not Louisville. Morehead State is the most successful, is the winningest program in the state of Kentucky in the last 5 years. That's a good program. Preston Spradling, their head coach, has done an outstanding job of putting that team together. Riley Minix was an NAIA All-American. Comes up to the Division I level, averages 20 and 10. And they've got another guard, whose name escapes me right now, very talented scoring guard. So they hit Illinois fast. They got up 9-0. Illinois calmed down, one going away. The Duquesne game, Illinois is locked in defensively. And if they can get starts like that, they don't have to get a 10 to, I think they were up 10-4 at the first TV timeout, or maybe 12-4 against Duquesne in the first TV timeout. They blitzed Duquesne. They don't have to blitz teams. They just can't start slowly, okay? They can be down 2, 4, even 6 points going into the first TV timeout, but it can't be 9-0. It can't be 12-2. Can't be 15-3, because at this level, you're one of 16 teams that can win a national championship. You cannot dig yourself a hole like that. Avoid the slow start. Take care of the basketball. Iowa State is second only to, is it UTEP or North Florida in forcing turnovers in the country. They've got the number one. This is fantastic. This will probably be the best matchup in the round of 16, because Illinois now is the number one Ken Palm efficiency rated team in the country. Iowa State has been the number one defensive efficiency rated team in Ken Palm for a good part of the second part of the portion of the season. So this is a classic battle of offense versus defense. Can Illinois take care of the basketball? To me, get Dane involved early and often. And you guys may scratch your head if you've seen Iowa State play. Hear me out. Iowa State does as good a job of anybody in the country in their half-court offense. If you get that thing along the sideline and baseline, they automatically come and they double team. They almost zone you up. So how can Illinois get Dane Danger the ball in the post? They can start strong side, let him be weak side, work the zoom action on the perimeter, and as the ball is starting to work its way back to the weak side, Dane can seal hard, catch it, and he's got to go fast, because as soon as Dane catches it, they're coming on the double, right? So even if Dane has 1 or 2 turnovers, I'm okay with that, because Iowa State's defense is really good in that they put so much pressure on post play that they almost discourage guys from going into the post. But you got to keep going in there, because Dane can get big energy Rob Jones. They can get him in foul trouble. Hassan Ward is a long, athletic rim runner, dunker, that he can get him in foul trouble. And if you start to get into their depth a little bit up front, Iowa State doesn't have a tremendous amount of depth up front. So keep that in mind. Dominate the glass against against Iowa State. Iowa State's defensive rebounding rate is, I think, it's top 75 in the country. It's not great. And the reason is because they rotate so much. They scramble so much that it's hard for them to really clear off the defensive glass. But think about it. 25% of the time, Iowa State forces a turnover on their opponents. That's 1 in 4. So what they don't have in defensive rebounding prowess, they make up in forcing turnovers and creating early offense and easy offense for themselves. So I think these are some of the things that if you see this happening early for the Illini, if they avoid the slow start, if they're going to have turnovers. Iowa State's going to turn Illinois over. It's going to happen. But if you turn the ball over, Illini, throw it into the 10th row, or throw it out of bounds, or just take a 5-second call to allow yourselves to get back defensively. Because if you have live ball turnovers, that's what Iowa State does. That's how they get a lot of their offense. And so if you can avoid that and you make Iowa State score in the half court, they become much less effective in terms of attacking. Now, don't get it twisted. Let me give you some people here to consider. Keyshawn Gilbert is a dog he can play point, he can play off guard. He's got the neon green light. He and Tamin Lipsey and Corey Jones, they are a dynamic 3 guards in the backcourt. Curtis Jones comes off the bench. Tamin Lipsey and Keyshawn Gilbert start, but they are dynamic. They've got the ultimate green light, so they're very difficult to contain. The freshman Milan Momcilovic is a revelation. This young man is a 6'9", can shoot it from anywhere on the floor. He's got like a Dirk Nowitzki kind of fadeaway jump shot that's almost impossible to block. He moves great without the basketball, and his teammates find him. This Iowa State team has great chemistry on the offensive end. They are definitely on the string. They are locked in on the defensive end. This is going to be a fantastic matchup, and I don't know. I'm going to be glad to be wrong. Let's just put it like that. If Illinois can beat Iowa State, I will be ecstatic to be wrong about that. But I was putting on my analyst hat before the tournament. But the way that Illinois, that I saw them play, especially, I like the way they came back against Morehead State, but especially the way they played against Duquesne. Baby, listen, I don't know. I am glad. I would be glad to be wrong. Okay. Now, let me show you these graphics here to give you a little bit more to think about. So the Boilermakers looking for their first Elite Eight appearance since 2019. Okay. Purdue hasn't advanced to the Final Four since 1980. That's a long drought, ladies and gentlemen. Bulldogs lost to UConn in the Elite Eight last year. Can you believe that Gonzaga has made their 9th straight Sweet 16? Think about that. Coach John Calipari has I believe a lifetime contract from Kentucky. I can't tell you the last time Kentucky's been to the Sweet 16. But Mark Few at Gonzaga, 9 straight Sweet 16s. And you can come up with all the excuses you want. All they play in the West Coast Conference. All that no. I ain't trying to hear it. Excellent program. Battle of the big men between Zach Edey and Graham Ike. I think it's Ike. Graham Ike. Graham Ike started his career at Wyoming, is a really skilled left-hand guy. Think of Zach Randolph, a guy that's left-hand dominant and he's kind of unorthodox, doesn't jump high, not a great athlete, but is a bona fide bucket getter in the post. And then Kim Palm efficiency. Gonzaga is an excellent offensive ball club. They're number 12 in the country. 6 players average at least 9 points or more on this ball club. So this is a very, very talented squad. Make sure you check this game out. It's going to be a fantastic one. All right, let's go over to Illinois and Iowa State. A couple things I want you to consider. We talked about the most efficient offense and the most efficient defense. Illinois has won 9 of their last 10 games, averaging 88 points a game, guys. So something's got to give. Something has got to give. Iowa State hasn't allowed more than 65 points in its last 10 games. 88 and 65. that's a big margin. Something I have a feeling it's going to kind of do this a little bit. I don't anticipate Illinois being able to score 88 on Iowa State, but I don't expect the Cyclones to be able to hold the Fighting Illini. They won't. I doubt that they hold a line at 65 points. So something's going to give, but it's going to be more in the middle. I think this game will probably get into the 70s. And if it's high 70s, that obviously favors the Illini. And there you see the best defense and the best offense going at it. You're talking about a classic clash of differences and styles. Going to be fascinating to see who comes out of this one. All right. Now, excuse me. I've got a very interesting topic before I get into some coaching news. Okay. Now, there's this topic going around that is this the best Fighting Illini season ever? Single season ever? Is Terrence Shannon having the best season of a Illini player ever? And I got to give big ups to my main man, my great friend and fellow Illini, Jerry Hester, who did some research and came up with this stat, all right? Because he looked and said that Ken Norman's stats were about as similar or were comparable to one of the best seasons of an Illini in the history of the program. So let's take a look. Hope you guys can see this okay. Points per game, Terrence Shannon Jr., 23.1. Ken Norman, 20.7. Rebounds, Ken Norman has the advantage at 9.8 to 4 for Terrence Shannon. Assists are even. That's kind of interesting. The steals are about even. Believe it or not, Terrence Shannon is 1.0 steals per game. Ken Norman's 1.2 steals per game. Ken Norman has an advantage on the blocks per game at 1.5 to 0.9 for Terrence Shannon. And Ken Norman was in in his third season, he was 21 years old, and this is Terrence's fifth year in college at 23. So I thought this was a fascinating breakdown by my man Jerry Hester to give me these statistics to give you a sense of the type of season that Terrence Shannon is having. All right. So I'm going to pull this graphic down and I'm going to explain why I think that Terrence Shannon's season is the best ever. Here's why. One thing that no one is talking about right now nationally. This guy is playing the best basketball of anybody in the country. And that's Zach Edey included. And here's why. Terrence Shannon is putting up these numbers, guys. He's averaging 31.5 points per game in his last 7 games. So his rebounds numbers aren't equivalent to Zach Edey, but his scoring numbers may have eclipsed Zach's in the last 7 games. Here's the major difference. Terrence Shannon is guarding the opposing team's best player. Let me say that again. From a former defensive player of the year in the Big Ten. Terrence Shannon is scoring 31.5 points a game, and he's guarding the opposing team's best player. Nobody in college basketball is doing that. Nobody in recent memory from Derek Harper on down, nobody's doing that. Guys, Jerry Hester is a very intelligent dude. He crunched these numbers for me. And the best statistical season he could come up with was Ken Norman. Let me put this up again so you guys can see this. All right. The rebounding numbers obviously are better because Ken Norman was a post player. He was more, around the rim. No excuses. No excuses. But Terrence scoring better. Ken is better on the glass. I was shocked that they were both equal in assists. That's interesting. Ken Norman's slightly better on steals. Ken Norman's slightly better on blocks. And Ken's a little bit younger. But Ken never guarded the opposing team's best player. Terrence is doing it every game. So to me, if there's a question about who's having the best Illini season ever, it's got to go to Terrence Shannon, guys. I know you may not agree. I want to hear your thoughts on this. But to me, the Big Ten Conference and the NCAA need to wait till after the tournament to come up with all Big Ten. Who's the best player in the Big Ten? Who's the best player in the country? Because right now, Zach Edey's right there, but Zach's not picking dudes up for, at half court, sitting down on defensively. He's not running through screens. He's not contesting shots and then getting back into play. Did you all see the play against Morehead State when Terrence tipped the ball, dove for it, didn't get it, got back up, dove again, got it, threw it off the hip of his opposing team so that Illinois could get the ball? Nobody's doing that, guys. No one's leading scorers doing that. Not one leading scorer in the country that's left in the tournament has their leading scorer is doing anything like that. That was the play of the tournament. And he's been doing that. And the fact that, like, my buddy who's in Atlanta, been watching the games, he says that on television, they're not giving Terrence any love. I get it. These networks get funny about that stuff because of the situation that's hanging out in Kansas. I get it. But ladies and gentlemen, come on now. They got to start giving him some love. Because I'm sorry, if you break it down like this, if we were to take the look, Zach Edey ain't guarding the opposing team's best player. Graham Ike from Gonzaga, he definitely ain't guarding the opposing team's best player because he doesn't have the foot speed. He's 6'9", whatever, but he ain't got the foot speed. Ain't nobody doing this, guys. I'm just telling you. Okay? So I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. I'm just telling you that from a defensive player of the year and what I'm seeing him do defensively, and then he's had some of the most quiet 30-point games that I've seen in a long time. and he's not forcing it. He's not getting 30 points on 25 shots. He's getting 30 points on like 15, 16 attempts. He's getting to the line. He's shooting his three. He's getting to the hole. And he's D'ing the opposing team's best player up. So, to me, it's the best season in Illinois history for that reason and that reason alone. I'd love to hear what you guys think about that. All right, on to some coaching news. Dusty May is the new head coach at Michigan. Now, this is what I'm curious about with all these coaching changes. Will he get certain guarantees that Jawan didn't get? Because it's common knowledge that Jawan had Terrence Shannon and Caleb Love in the mix. Hunter Dickinson was in the mix. The only reason Hunter Dickinson left because he couldn't get any NIL. He could not get the NIL money that Kansas was going to give him. So did Dusty May get some guarantees before he signed on? Right? Will he get more leeway in admissions? We'll see. Or is it that Dusty May will get a different type of player to come in Michigan? We'll see. Kind of interesting to me, though. I'd be curious because Dusty May could have gone anywhere. Could have gone to Louisville. And any other big job that was coming open, his name was on that list. So he had great bargaining power. I have a feeling Michigan did a few different things that they weren't willing to do for their own. Let's remember, ladies and gentlemen, Juwan Howard is a quote-unquote Michigan man. So I'm curious to see if Dusty May is going to get preferential treatment that they didn't even extend to their own. I want you guys to think about that. All right. Jake Diebler the interim was taken off. He's the new head coach at Ohio State. Well-deserved. Congratulations, Jake Diebler. I thought him bringing back Dave Dickerson to the staff was a classy move. Dave Dickerson was a fixture in the Ohio State men's basketball program for years under Thad Matta. And the fact that Jake Diebler is savvy enough to understand what Dave Dickerson meant to the program, him bringing him back, I thought that was a classy move by Jake Diebler. So congratulations to him on getting the job, a $2.5 million at 5 years per for him at Ohio State, and him bringing back Dave Dickerson. I believe he's going to name him the associate head coach. So that's a classy move, and they're trying to reignite that time that when Thad Matta was roaming the sidelines at Ohio State, they were getting McDonald's All-Americans, they were getting players they wanted, and they were consistently at the top of the Big Ten and consistently making deep runs into the NCAA tournament. All right. That's it for the coaching news. And then I just wanted to share with you guys, man, I wish if you guys are able to work with people that you can call friends, you are very, very fortunate, right? It doesn't happen a lot to whatever career field you're in. To be able to call somebody that you work closely with a friend, and I've got several of them, is unbelievable. It's amazing. And so the fact that me and Kevin Kugler get to be in Omaha, which is Kevin's hometown, because Kevin is one of the most talented play-by-play announcers in the country. He's one of the busiest play-by-play announcers in the country and one of the most sought after. So for him to be able to be at home for the first and second round, I was happy for him so that he could sleep in his own bed. I believe his dog, his name's Charlie. He could see Charlie on the regular basis, and Michelle could cook him some home-cooked meals. But the fact that I get a chance to work with him because he's one of the best in the business and we are friends, and the fact that, he knew everybody in the venue, he knew where to tell me to go to get certain things. And then the fact that we were able to call Illinois' games, and that Illinois Duquesne game was my last one of the season. And the fact that I got a chance to be around that program and the fan base in Omaha when they won that game. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try to describe the feeling that I had and then the team had in my exchanges with the guys. So, we got a chance to interview Marcus Damask after the game. And, Brad was right next to us doing the interview with the Illinois radio. He had done the CBS television thing already. And he was so animated. He was so happy. And Marcus Damask, I think, really understood the significance of 19 years for this program and getting that monkey off their back, interviewing him and talking to him about his triple-double in the first round, only the 10th in NCAA tournament history. And guys, I'm calling my alma mater. And so I'm seeing all this, and I couldn't wait to get off the air because I started hollering. I started pumping my fists. I went in the locker room, was able to hug some of the guys, talk to the coaches, got a chance to hug Brad, tell him how proud I was of him. I saw Coleman. I saw Terrence. I gave Terrence a huge hug and told him how proud I was of the young man that he is coming through this adversity. And guys, I tell you what, I'm going to Boston. I did not have plans to go to Boston before this week, but when I saw how the Illini were playing and the jubilation around the fan base and the team, I was like, oh no, I got to be a part of this. I'm not missing this. This might be a special run, ladies and gentlemen. And so I'm going to be able to, root for Illinois. I'm not working the games. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be doing some things because I got a media pass and everything. I'll be doing some things and whatnot, doing some interviews, but I'm there. I'm not going to root on press row because you can't do that. But you best believe I'm going to be rocking my Flying Illini gear all day, every day, fighting Illini gear all day, every day, because this is the 2024 version of the Fighting Illini, and this is a special team. And these guys, they're fun to be around. So this could be a magical run, ladies and gentlemen. So I wanted to share that because I don't often talk to you guys about my own personal feelings and emotions around Big Ten basketball in general, but just being able to cover your alma mater in the tournament. I called their first two games in the tournament. And I think I did a pretty good job. I didn't get blasted on Twitter or anything like that, but just to be able to take the headset off and then go join in the celebration was tremendous. I mean, if I wasn't so tired, I would have been at the Marriott, which was Illini Central, and really taking it all in. But I was beat, man. I had to go back and chill. So, but anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys because it was a special night for me. It was a special night for the program, and I'm elated for Brad Underwood and his team. Because they've really earned this opportunity, and the way that they're playing, Iowa State and UConn better watch out. I'm thinking that UConn is going to beat San Diego State. Iowa State and UConn better watch out because this Illinois team, guys, they're playing. All right. So real quick, once again, before I get to your questions, I got 110 questions to get to. We got 181 people on here live. Thank you, y'all. Thanks for the support. Much love. I appreciate y'all. Go to bardostribe.com, BARDOS tribe.com to get your free copy. Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. You'll be added to the email list, and I guarantee you I won't blow you up. You can also join by texting me 312-847-2739. All right. Thank you for your patience. I know I'm not going to be able to get to all these, but I'm going to try my best, guys. Voice of Truth, David Green. Good to see you, my man. Thanks for tuning in. What's up, Bradley? Good to see you. Thank you, sir. David Yin. Yeah, you know what, man? TV's overrated. I'm just playing. You know what? It was an honor, and Kevin Kugler broke it down best, David. There's only two crews that call NCAA tournament games at Omaha, and I was part of one of them. Wasn't on TV, I was on radio, but I was overjoyed and grateful to the creator that I had that opportunity. All right, so I was all good. No, Calipari would not be fired because if he was going to be fired, they would have done it already. Guys, if there's a team that has lost and they didn't fire their coach or their coach didn't leave, their coach is going to be intact because the transfer portal is open right now. If you're going to make a change, you got to make it fast. Because if you don't make it fast, people are already talking to players. If you're going to make a change after the portal's closed, you're screwed. So no, he's not going to get fired, because if they were to fire him, they would have done it already. Sean Rawl, what's up, Sean? Good to see you. Illini going to the Elite Eight one step at a time. Okay, they do look they look really good, and yes, David, they are peaking at the right time. Iowa State shot 48.6% from three-point range during the first two games of the tournament. What does Coach Underwood need to do to limit ISU's effectiveness from beyond the three? That's a good question. To me, Iowa State is so good when in pushing tempo. In a half-court set, they run some really good things. They run some really good sets. They run faux motion, meaning that sometimes they run faux motion and they're just moving the ball. They get the matchup they like and they go. Or if Taman Lipsy gets it and he sees an opening, he attacks. So, they shot the ball well, but Iowa State's two opponents, I believe it was South Dakota State. Wasn't BYU. No, it was, I think it was Drake. Was it Drake? No, I can't remember. But the teams that were going up against Iowa State are not as good defensively as Illinois, nor do they have the positional size that Illinois has on the perimeter to bother those clean catch and shoot threes. The Illini do a fairly good job of moving teams off the three-point line, especially since the end of the regular season. So, but that's a testament to the Iowa State Cyclones and how good they are. So thank you for that, Tarun. That's a great stat. I'm done talking about Izzo. I'm tired of talking about that. Let's hope practice this week, folks, on Illinois pressure. We'll see you in the next game. You can try to practice it, Jeff, but it's hard to simulate because Iowa State's so unique in what they do. Ron Charles is what's good, Ron? Thanks for tuning in, bro. Ron is referring to Bill Self saying that in the last month of the year, he was honestly thinking about next season. That's a guy that's got job security, Ron. That's why he's able to say that. And he's just being honest with the media. With Kevin McCullough's situation, with his bone bruise, with Hunter Dickinson's shoulder injury, that he was out in the back end of the regular season and the Big 12 conference tournament, it was probably a difficult season for Bill Self. I think a lot of players that he was counting on, kid Timberlake didn't really pan out very well. There were a couple other players I think that he was counting on that maybe didn't come through. And there was probably some stuff off the court that we're not privy to, Ron, that made him express his feelings about he was already thinking about next year, this last month of the season. So I respect his honesty, and it's just a great example of a guy that's got great job security. Did you talk about Jake Davis? I just got here. Who is Jake Davis? Don't know who you're referring to. David, I think it's interesting because I think he's a good coach, and what he did at FAU, I think he's a good coach, but I'm going to be curious once again to see if I doubt that he took the job under the same circumstances that Juwan Howard accepted the job, meaning the resources, the NIL money, the admissions support. It's going to be interesting to see the type of players that Dusty May is going to be able to get into Michigan that Juwan Howard was unable to get in. So I think Dusty May is a really good coach, but I'm curious to see what's going to happen Curtis Dietz, I will be in Beantown, baby. What's up, Rich? Yeah, UConn looks great. They're really good. But when you get to the round of 16 and Elite Eight, anybody can get beat. So we'll see what happens. But they're going to have a heavy UConn presence there, though, because they're right down the street. Did you party with the fans Saturday night? Dory, no. You know what? There was what is the name of that place? I stayed at the Marriott Courtyard, which is just up the street. I could see the Marriott from my hotel room. There was a sports bar that was next to the Courtyard that I wanted to sneak in and get a couple drinks right after the game and watch the Creighton Oregon game, which went into double overtime. So there were a bunch of Creighton people there. So I thought I was good until I went to the restroom. So I opened the door and this guy he yells out, "Stephen Bardo." I go, "Shh." And he was like, "Oh, my fault." I said, "No, man, I'll come over to you. Let me use the bathroom. I'll come over to you." Well, there was about a group of 8 Illini sitting over there. So I was like, "Oh, whatever." So I went and sat with them and they bought me a couple of beers and we watched the end of the Creighton game. Then I went back to my room and passed out. So no, I was thinking about it, Dory, but I wasn't. I said, I don't know if my energy level is up enough to be in that type of crowd, because to all due respect to the people that come up and say hi to me, I love it. But it was a little tough because all they want to do is talk basketball. And I've been talking basketball for the last 3 or 4 days nonstop. And I just kind of wanted to sit there and have a couple of brews, watch the end of the Creighton game, kind of, come down a little bit. So no, I didn't go over there, but I'll see where Illini Central is in Boston. I'll make my way over there. TM, I tell you what, the first game is going to be the key in my estimation, because to me, if Illinois gets past Iowa State, I don't care if it's San Diego State or UConn. I think they'll beat them. I don't think UConn or San Diego State necessarily matches up well with Illinois. Well, let me not say that. I can see paths to success for the Illini against either San Diego State or UConn. I can see it. Now, UConn is awesome. Don't get me wrong. Let me pull up their Ken Palm numbers just to give you guys a sense of how good they really are. So Illinois got the number 1 offense. Guess who's got the number 2 offense? UConn. Guess what UConn is rated defensively? 8. They defend their effective field goal percentage. Their numbers are incredible. So they really have no weaknesses. But the thing to me in the difference, so Alex Caravan, Cam Spencer, baller. Stephon Castle, baller. Donovan Clingan, baller. And Tristan Newton, onions. These dudes can ball, right? But Terrence Shannon and Marcus Domask are 2 of the best finishers left in the tournament, meaning that guys that you need to go get a bucket, Tristan Newton is going to be a draft pick. Stephen Castle will be a draft pick. Both these guys might go lottery. They are really good. Are they better? Is that 2 tandem, those 2 guards, Tristan Newton, Stephon Castle, they're big, like Marcus and Terrence. They're 6'5" and 6'6". I don't know. I think I take Shannon and Domask over Newton and Castle. I know I sound crazy, but I'm just saying I saw it firsthand. I think something special could happen if Illinois can get past Iowa State. That's a difficult matchup because Illinois not really having a speedy point guard that can kind of get away from traps and things like that. But if you're gonna if when Illinois State doubles Marcus Domask, he's big enough where unless you come with a big, you're not gonna really bother his vision. He's so big. So I don't know. It's gonna be fantastic. That's why I'm going, because I think there's not going to be a better matchup in the round of 16 than Illinois, Iowa State. Kalen Creedle heard a disturbing stat today: 4 Sweet 16 bids for the Big Ten in the last 3 tournaments out of 29 bids. I don't really know what that means, but Sean, you either playing or you drinking. Which one is it? No, Jeff. What I'm saying is, if the Illini can get past Iowa State, I'm not afraid for the Illini against UConn. I know I know I say some crazy things sometimes, right? I know, and I'm wrong a lot. I am. I don't care because I'll go out on if I feel strongly enough about something. I'm not, and I don't say anything to get likes or attention or nothing. No, I don't. I say stuff I can back it up either by what I see, the statistics that bear themselves out, or matchups. Okay, so yeah, they got to get past Iowa State first, and I picked Iowa State to beat Illinois in my bracket to start the tournament. But after watching Illinois play their first 2 games, I'm not so sure. Yeah, Justin, Terrence Shannon Jr., not this past season, but Terrence's first season in Illinois, he was actually going to Michigan, but he couldn't get into school. Michigan didn't admit him into the university based on hours that didn't transfer or something like that. Caleb Love, before this particular season, was going to be a Michigan Wolverine, and he was not admitted into school. That's what Jalen Rose is referring to. So it's common knowledge. I just want to see if Dusty May is going to be dealt a different playing field. Will he have more resources than Jawan was given? Yep, that was a good reason to pick Michigan State. I don't think it has anything to do with Iowa State's last game. I think it has a lot more to do with the way the Illini are playing. Defensively, what they did to Duquesne. Now, Duquesne wasn't a great offensive team, but they took them out. I mean, they just totally they cut their water off. Yes, I agree. Except San Diego State's still in it. But the Mountain West got all kinds of Colorado State, Utah State, Nevada, San Diego State, New Mexico, and did I say Colorado State? Yeah. Mountain West was this six bids for the Mountain West. Come on, man. Whatever. Okay, Mike Merrill. Why do John Calipari and Tom Izzo get passed for lack of success over the last 5 years? Cal last won in 2012 and Izzo 2000. Has a game passed both by? I don't think so, Mike. It's hard to win in college basketball. And fans like yourself, you guys don't have any patience. Nobody has any patience anymore. So I don't know. We'll see. But I think they're capable coaches. I don't know. I guess national championships don't mean anything, or development of young men don't mean anything anymore. But thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, because I'm sure there's some people thinking that way. But we'll see. Oh, thank you. Who's Johnny? Good to see. I think you're the first on. Is this your first time on here, Johnny? If it is, welcome to Bardo's Breakdown. Thank you. I appreciate your support and being on here with us. Remember, guys, like, share, and subscribe to this channel on Bardo Media on YouTube. It really helps the growth of the channel, and I think you guys really appreciate this banter and this back and forth conversation, because the YouTube channel is growing nicely, and there's more and more people coming. So if you guys know of other basketball fans or basketball people who like this type of conversation, please share it with them and let them know about what we're doing over here at Bardo Media on YouTube and Bardo's Breakdown. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, let me get back to the comments. Oh my gosh. We are in here today. Carol Pope Paquette is a tribe member. FAU coach Dusty May was hired a day after the loss. Coach May was being interviewed while, was in the tournament. I would think a coach should not have other contact with another school. No, that's been happening forever, Carol. We thought that it didn't happen in years past. That was happening when I was in college. These coaches work back channels all the time, and they're talking to people all the time. Believe me, I've not heard this, but believe me when I tell you there are people talking to Brad Underwood. There are other programs that are talking to Brad Underwood. Trust me, it happens. If you're a hot coach, if you're a highly sought after coach, and people respect what you're doing, you guys don't think that Brad Underwood's cachet just went up for getting Illinois to the Sweet 16 the first time in 19 years? His cachet went up. So Brad Underwood's price tag ain't yesterday's price tag. Today's prices ain't yesterday's prices. His price tag just went up. And this happens all the time, Carol. So no, it's just the way the game is played now. Thank you, Johnny, because you know what? People think that I wasn't a true point guard. There's even some college coaches in the Big Ten that I bristled when they said that about the flying Illini. I bristled. Oh, you guys really were like 5'4s. No, I wasn't, fool. I played point guard my whole life. My dad put the ball in my hands when I think I was a first grader or kindergarten when I first started playing. My dad put the ball in my hands and said, "You're a point guard." I never wavered. Every position, every team that I was ever on, I was a point guard. That was with the Pistons. That was with the Mavericks. That was with the Spurs in those coffee breaks I got in the NBA. That was in the Continental Basketball Association where I won a championship. That was overseas. Every stop that I played at, and at Illinois, I was the point guard. So, yeah, thank you for that, Johnny. Because I had to bite my tongue a couple times. I was like, man, you guys don't have a clue what you're talking about. Lyle, that's hard to say, man, because the portal is so unpredictable. We just have to kind of sit back and watch and wait and see. Fly, Illini, fly. How's your bracket doing? For me, I got off to a great start. Predicted the Kentucky upset correctly, but then things just steamrolled for me. I got a 10-16 I got 10 of the 16 Sweet 16 teams correct. That's pretty good, man. I don't have my bracket up, but I think I did pretty good. Maybe not as good as you, but I did pretty good. Jeffrey says, how do we match up speed and size-wise? Can we run and rebound on them? I'm thinking Jeffrey's talking about Iowa State. Yeah, we could certainly rebound on Iowa State. They're not huge. They're very aggressive. They play hard. They get after you. They make you uncomfortable. They play physical. They're scrappy. They're junkyard dogs. But yes, the Illini can rebound with them, and the Illini have the speed to keep up with them. Now, defensively, Taman Lipsey and Keyshawn Gilbert may be a problem on the perimeter. I'm sure Terrence Shannon will be on one of them, and probably Ty Rodgers on the other. But those guys they're quick. They got the neon green light to shoot anytime they want. So that makes them very difficult to guard. So that's going to be the challenge for the Illini. As Tarun Reddy put up earlier, can they defend the three? Because Iowa State shot 48% from three in their first and second round victories. Can the Illini guard that better? We'll see. Iowa State and UConn don't have an answer for TSJ. Nobody in the country does right now, Philip. UConn is good, but Illinois has 3 of the 4 better players in that game. I don't know about 3 of the 4 better, because Donovan Clingan is probably going to be a lottery pick. So Dane is going to have to play. I don't see Coleman being able to. I see Coleman starting on him, but I see Dane Danger coming in and getting some extended minutes to try to offset if Illinois were to get past Iowa State and UConn were to get past San Diego State. So I don't think Illinois has overall talent. UConn is got a little bit more talent than Illinois, believe it or not. They are extremely talented. We didn't even mention Cam Spencer, who is he's been shooting lights out, one of the best outside shooters in the country. If you guys remember him from Rutgers, so he's been a seamless fit for them. And Alex Caravan might be the best power forward in the country. So UConn is definitely is right there, if not better, talent wise, in Illinois. No. Washington State has something to do with that. CD. Washington State is big and they're physical, so they had something to do with Iowa State not playing as well. But everybody in the Sweet 16, man, they cut loose now. Yeah, I just shared my thoughts on that. Yep. Well, we'll see, Johnny, because the thing is, UConn can move. UConn can move their. Pardon me. They can move their defense around as well. Alex Caravan at 6'8" can play the small ball 5. So if Coleman gets going too quickly, they can pull him. They can pull Clingan, Donovan Clingan. For those that don't know, Donovan Clingan is the big man for UConn. He's 7'2", 280. So he's going to be an interesting matchup for the Illini if the Illini can advance. Let's see. Trying to get somebody I haven't gotten yet. And questions that make sense, because we're keeping it on tournament talk here. Okay, Dory asked, do you think Iowa State will cause problems for Marcus Domask? How much do you think three-point shooting will be a factor? Three-point shooting is always a factor in the tournament. It's always a factor. And so will Illinois be able to get up 25, 33s in this game? I'm not so sure, because Iowa State is so aggressive on their perimeter defense and the way they scramble and whatnot. It's going to be interesting. But if here's one thing I'll tell you that I saw Washington State was able to do. Washington State had the size that when they got double teamed on one side of the floor, they were big and strong enough to get it to the opposite side. If Illinois can accept the double team and get that thing out to the other side, they'll have great success. Washington State had a number of looks from three-point line that they did not connect on because Iowa State was in rotation, and they would get to the first guy, but then they would swing it. There'd be a corner pocket three, or the pass would come to the corner, and the guy in the corner would swing it to the guy on the wing, and he'd have a look. Washington State had a number of three-point looks that they did not convert on. I believe the Illini will have the opportunity to convert on those. So it'll be interesting to see how that works, Dory. Well, Pooh, I'm telling you, the way that Purdue is looking right now and their path, I like them against Gonzaga. I don't have the other who they would meet in the Elite Eight, but whoever it is, I don't think can match up to them, because I remember, my memory serves me correctly. I'm not going to get into that, but yes, I'm confident that it's either Purdue or Illinois. Again, it's all predicated to me if Illinois can beat Iowa State. If Illinois beats Iowa State, I like their chances against UConn. I like that matchup. And once you get in the Final Four, anything can happen. Philip says Illinois is an old team, and old teams don't make the mistakes that Iowa State needs. Could be, but Iowa State's really good pressuring that ball, man. CD said 19 years since Sweet 16 for Illinois. What an experience this weekend. I saw parents, alum, and fans in tears. Then the hotel was a celebration I won't ever forget. CD, I was in tears. I'm going to admit that to you guys right now. I didn't admit it earlier in the show, but I was in tears. I was happy as hell because I didn't realize, I always had to keep my media hat on, But then as the game was ending and I was looking at the bench and I was looking at Brad Underwood, I've never seen him that emotional. Not where he was crying. He was just happy. He was pumping his fist. He was, he was at the crowd. He was clapping to the crowd, and then I don't know if you guys saw the footage in the locker room celebration after the game. This is going to get any kid that wants to come to Illinois in the transfer portal, they're coming. And here's why. For those that know, they had a shot of the guys in the locker room. Underwood does all his media stuff. He comes in the locker room with these with the ski goggles and a super soaker. He comes in and he's shooting the guys with water guns and they're ducking. I mean, guys, I think Brad said this is his most fun group he's coached. And the emotion that is around this ball club right now is special. It's really special. That's why I'm going to Boston, because I felt it. And, I felt the release of emotion, but the jubilation that, you know what? We got through the first test. Now we got the next test. Can we win this 4-game tournament? And the way that they're playing and the emotion and the positive emotion that I'm feeling around the program right now, that's why that's why I'm going to be in Boston, because I want to experience it. So thanks for sharing that, CD. Doug in the portal after the coach named is big. No. Doug was in the portal before they made it before they hired Dusty May. He was in the portal as soon as you could get in the portal. He was in there. So it wasn't after the coach's name. T-Hop 42, if this is your first time on, welcome to Bardo's Breakdown. Illini guards are too strong for Iowa State. I see foul trouble for the guards, and Illini can persevere with the slower pace. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, Taman Lipsey is not as big, nor is Keyshawn Gilbert, but they're tough guys. And you got to remember something. They won the tournament of the best conference in the country. They're used to going up against bigger guards. They've seen bigger guards. They haven't seen anything like Terrence Shannon, but they've seen bigger guards. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fantastic matchup, man. I'm telling you, I can't wait. I cannot wait. There's Simeon. Thank you, as always, for your support. There's no question about it. He'll be the best player on the floor. I'm hopeful the Illini will get past Iowa State. It's gonna be great. Now this might be accurate. First team to 75 in that Illinois-Iowa State game wins. That might be accurate because I'd have to go back and look at the game, the point output for Iowa State. They can get it going. I mean, they don't, pardon me, they don't average as much as Illinois, but let me see here. Let me pull up Iowa State and look at their wow. Ken Palm has Iowa State beating Illinois by 76-75. So you might be clairvoyant, whoever this Facebook user is. First team 75 in that Illinois-Iowa State game wins. So according to Ken Palm, he's got Iowa State winning by 1. And Iowa State's point output, 67 against Washington State, 82 against South Dakota State, 69 against Houston, 76 against Baylor, 76 against Kansas State, 65 against Kansas State, 68 against BYU. USF, they scored 60. Wow. Oklahoma, they scored 58. So could be. First one to 75 wins. No, Philip, he didn't want it. Here's the thing, and I know Mark Few because I covered Gonzaga a long time before I left ESPN. Mark Few understands that you don't run from happy. That's the exact quote that he gave me and Terry Gannon. You do not run from happy. If you're happy with where you live, if your family is happy with where you live, and you can see consistent success at a place, and you're getting paid enough money, why leave? I mean, Mark Few's ego is a lot less than a lot of these coaches. A lot of these coaches have huge egos. Okay. And their ego pushes them, like if Louisville's available for $5 million a year, I got to take that job. If UCLA is available, I got to take that job. Mark Few could have had Arizona, UCLA, Indiana, because Indiana wanted them bad before they hired, I think it was after Crean. I think they went at Mark Few pretty hard with a bunch of money. And Mark Few's like, man, look, his house, at least the one that I remember when I was covering them, looks the back of Mark Few's house. He's got the grass and everything, but then it's a ravine and it's mountains, and he's got this land. He can go and fish. He can do all this stuff on his own land that's 10 minutes away from where he coaches at Gonzaga. Spokane is an underrated basketball market, very knowledgeable basketball market. And Spokane is about 750,000, 800,000 people. It's a little bit bigger than people think. So they get great fan support. He's got great NIL. The past success allows him to get all these great players that come to Gonzaga. So why would he leave? Why would he leave? Oh, what's up, Curtis? I saw you at open practice. Thanks for waving back. I tried to get your attention for the first game, but didn't get your attention. Those chairs didn't look comfortable that you had to sit in. Oh, they were great. I was courtside. You could have gave me a wooden bench. I'm on courtside calling NCAA tournament games. It was good for me. Snake did it the hard way and no fluff. True that. Snake was a tough player. I played with Snake. He was hardcore. Hardcore. Great teammate, too. Great teammate. I think this is the best season any Illinois player has had. He is scoring, usually guarding the best. Plus, the team has won a conference tournament championship. Good point. Good point. No, here's why they put him third team All-American, ladies and gentlemen. Just because of the rape charge. That's it. He'd be up for player of the year if it wasn't for that. I think he is the best player, best two-way player in the nation right now. I don't think it's close. Well, Fly Illini Fly. The only reason is because of the rape charge. That's it. If that wasn't there, he would be getting all the accolades that he deserves. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay. So Ken Norman, CD, if you're 44, I'm 56. I'll be 56 in a couple weeks. I'm 12. You were. So when I was, oh no, well, no, you'd been too young when Ken was playing. You would have been like 2 or 3 years old in Ken's last year. That's why you don't remember him. 6'8", built like an Adonis, first round draft pick of the Los Angeles Clippers. Had a good NBA career as well. Very, very good teammate. Very tough player. Mentally tough, physically tough. Could score, rebound. Was unselfish. Great teammate. This is why I love y'all. Call me out. Yeah, I have to eat my words on that. He would have started with us. The way he's playing, he would have started with us. I have to eat my words on that. I definitely do. I don't know whose place he would have taken. Possibly, I don't think it would have been mine, only because Kendall could run the point in a pinch, but Kendall doesn't think like a point guard. You have to have the mentality of a point to be able to do it consistently. So if you had Kendall at the point, Terrence and Nick on the wings, Kenny Battle at the 4, and Lowell at the 5, that'd been a hell of a team. Woo, been a hell of a 5. But I don't know that the ball would have gotten to where it needed to go, if you know what I mean. So, but thank you for that. Let's see. Kenny said he's one of the top 3 players in this year's tournament. He's the top player so far. Let's see. Ooh, Marcus Carroll brings up something. Jaden Ledee from San Diego State is the best interior player that can guard on the perimeter. If you guys remember, Jaden Ledee couldn't get off the bench at Ohio State. He was at Ohio State, ladies and gentlemen, and couldn't get off the bench. He's a walking double-double right now and has been for a couple years for San Diego State. Good call, Marcus Carroll. Thank you for sharing that. No, Curtis. I mean, even Kenny Battle, Nick Anderson could finish. Not like Terrence. Terrence's speed, his sheer speed at which he goes to the rim, he has to do certain things to get the finish that he wants because he's going so fast. I think he's probably the best finisher that we've seen at Illinois. Kathy Sloan Wood. What's up, Kathy? Good to see you. I wouldn't call it that. It's just different. It's something we have to get used to. And it's a reaction to the exploitation of athletes that's been taking place for decades. That's all this is. But thanks for tuning in, Kathy. Spoken like a Sloan. If you all can, I'll let you all try to figure it out. The name Sloan, the basketball name Sloan. Kathy's a part of that first family of basketball. So whatever, if she's gonna make a comment, best believe she knows what time it is. All right, Ralph, thanks for joining the tribe. Appreciate you, my man. Okay, Ralph. See, and this is something I was worried about. Does Illini making Sweet 16 negate the theory that winning Big Ten tourney is the reason Big Ten teams don't go deep in the Big Dance? I didn't know if it was the reason, but I thought that it wore teams out, Ralph. But obviously the Illini have put that to rest. So great point. And now it doesn't matter because the only game that would have mattered was the first game. That's what I was most nervous about for the Illini, was that game against Morehead State. And when they came out and spotted a 9-0 run, I was like, uh-oh. I started to get a little nervous. But then the Illini settled down. They played their game, and they won going away. So maybe it does dispel that. That's a great point, Raul. And thanks for joining the tribe. Welcome. And great point. Let's see. Let me get to somebody else here. What's up, Doug? Doug House, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Kent Dunford. Yeah, I mean, I wish I was getting that TV money, but the radio money ain't bad either, though. I ain't turning it down, so it was good. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Check it out, 7. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Mike, man, the thing with me doing this stuff, being a member of the media, I got to do my job. But there's no question that, I love Illinois. Illinois, I met my wife there. My oldest son graduated from there. My ex-wife, I should say. Illinois has given me a lot. It's given me a tremendous platform for a professional basketball career. The success of the Flying Illini team gave me an in to get in the broadcasting side. some of the friends that I have for life. I met at Illinois. I love that place. I love Illinois, everything about it. So, and people question that because I've got to do my job. And it's only been in the last few years that I've been, I've accepted for what it is, Mike. So I show my loyalty when I can. And when I have to do my job, I do my job. But yeah, it's always been there. It's never abated. It's just that sometimes I show it and sometimes I don't. Will you? This is further after the Kane interview, Brad. Kenny Kim, tribe member. After the Kane post-game interview was over, when Brad Coleman and Marcus did their fun choreographed exit, you could tell this team is different. There's a chemistry between the guys and they're having fun. Can you take me with you to Boston? Kenny, I'll tell you what, if you get to Boston, you could crash in my room, partner. At least the least I can do is give you somewhere to sleep. But check it out if you can. What's up, Brian Ivory? Good to see you, brother. There's an Illini on here as well. Thanks for tuning in. Jeanette Washington, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Let's see. Let me see if I can get to someone else. Tyler Holman says, have been a big hater of Coleman. Watch the video you put on how we need to move to be more supportive as a fan base. Ever since then, have changed my attitude towards Coleman and have realized how important he is to the team's success. Tyler, thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate that. I just, you know what it is more than anything, Tyler, because I've been critical of Coleman as well, but everything happens for a reason, right? And I got season tickets. People didn't really know this. I had season tickets to the Illini this year. First time I'd done this in my life. I bought four season tickets. I didn't make many games, and I didn't handle the tickets as well as I probably could have. Gave them out to people, whatever. But when I went to a game and I saw the crowd's reaction and I heard the noise coming from the stands that was raining down on the court, I just felt really bad for Coleman, and I felt bad for our program because that was some Bush League stuff. It didn't need to happen. And so, Tyler, for you to listen to that and for that seed to plant inside of you, and then it helped you to see how important or how valuable Coleman is to the team, that's why I do this. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, what Tyler just admitted is one of the main reasons why I do this show, is because I want to give you guys a different perspective and a different view on certain things that maybe you didn't think about. Maybe you're not paying attention to the way the crowd responds to Coleman when you're in the State Farm Center. I do, because I know how it affects him. I remember when the crowd was booing Andy Kaufman. And we wanted to go up in the stands and kick people's behinds because that's our brother. And you're 18 and 19, 20 years old, and you're trying the very best that you can do. These fans don't know how hard you work, how much you sacrificed, how much you've been in the weight room, how much crap you've taken from opposing fan bases, all this stuff. They have no clue what these kids go through. And so I want to share that side with you all so that you become more educated, and it may change the way you see things, or it may give you more information that you become more educated. So Tyler, I salute you, partner. Thank you very much for that. That means a lot. That means a lot. That gives me more energy to keep doing what I'm doing, because that's the type of outcome that I like to see. Scott says, what's up, Steven? As a player, how do you prepare for the physical, chaotic defense ISU will bring? How do you prepare your mind knowing you aren't going to get the call you should in this chaos? Scott, great question. Lou Henson used to do this when we played Iowa on the scout team, he put 6 people on the floor on defense, so that there was always one person that was roaming, that wherever the ball went, they could automatically double team. That's a technique that Lou Henson used to use. I'm not sure what Brad Underwood is going to do, but it's impossible to simulate how Iowa State and their personnel move through their defensive schemes. You can practice it. You can look at film, and you're not going to have to tell Terrence Shannon that Iowa State is tough. He's played in the Big 12. He knows how tough Iowa State is. He understands how physical that's going to be. So you try to look at as much tape as you can. You try to figure out ways to have a pressure release or pressure break, but there's really no way to simulate the physicality, quickness, length, and strength that Iowa State's going to bring. It's just something you're going to have to deal with in the first 5 minutes until you get used to it, and you make your adjustments and go from there. But great question, Scott, because they're going to have to figure this out, because they're going to get called. Iowa State, every possession defensively, Iowa State fouls. The official could call a foul every time. But because of their reputation and the way that they play, people have grown accustomed to them being physical, and they let them get away with a lot of that. Great question. All right. Let me get down to the end here, because I got to run here in a minute. Starting mass of Domask, a starting 5 of Domask, Shannon, Guerrier, Hawkins, and Danger would match up well with UConn. Okay, that's a little different lineup. That would be interesting. Let's see. Okay, Curtis. Okay, well, Curtis, me and you gonna be in touch offline, because I'd like to look at those watering holes as well, because I'm about to go to a watering hole when I finish here. Williams Inn Sports Bar on Michigan and Cermak plays. They got a happy hour and they play house music on Monday nights. So that's where I'm headed. So I like certain watering holes. So let's hook up, Curtis. let's check that out. This is going to be the last question, because this is a good one. David Lucas says, hate to even raise the question, but it's a good one. How likely is the way the game is officiated going to affect the outcome of the game? It's going to have a big effect. So let's see if the Illini can handle however the game's going to be called. We know that it's going to be physical, because in the NCAA tournament, they try to let you play a little bit more. So it's going to be physical. But on the flip side, that will allow Domask to put those huge shoulders on the people that are guarding him and dip in. That'll allow Terrence to get to the rim, Dane to do work inside. And so it can favor the Illini as well as favor Iowa State in certain situations. So that's a good one. That's a good one. And thank you, David. I think we're going to bounce on that one. Again, join the inner circle of the tribe by texting 312-847-2739, or go get your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. Go to bardostribe.com. That's BARDOS tribe.com. That's going to do it today for today's show, guys. I think we had more people watching live than I've ever had. So thank you very much to all of you all for spending a portion of your Monday with me. I always appreciate you. I always love you guys. Have a great week. And you know what? I have not said this before on this show, but go Illini. Go Boilers. Let's go Sweet 16, Big 10. Until next time, holla, y'all.